Hey crew, I know I look crazy, but I just worked out at Spartan Dance Fit Center. Wanted to talk to you because I have had a lot of experiences lately and I feel like maybe I can offer some wisdom to anyone that's watching. Recently I learned a very valuable lesson that I think applies to many areas of life, and of course I'll give you the backstory. But the message, if there's anything you hear, let's say you just want to click out of the video a minute in. My words of wisdom are: people treat you the way you allow them to treat you. Let me repeat that. People treat you the way you allow them to treat you. I say this because I look back at kind of my journey on how I got to where I am now, and I've worked for people that treated me poorly, and then I've also work currently for people that truly value their employees. Now that's a part of it, is that people treat you the way they want to treat you. But in addition to that, sometimes when we're wronged, we don't say anything. And by saying nothing, you're actually doing something. You're okaying the behavior. When you're not wording or communicating that you disagree with the action, or you disagree with the decision, or you disagree with how things were handled, then you're by doing nothing, you're saying something. You're allowing someone to continue that behavior. Now, recently, I had signed out of I moved out to a new apartment, and I had gotten all these fees in my current apartment complex. And so, the natural I am, the me, I went to talk to somebody that was in charge of that paperwork. And long story short, they treated us fairly demeaning. So I called corporate. Corporate didn't answer the phone. I left a couple voicemails, but I was determined to talk to somebody because A, it's not okay to be treated that way, but B, I wasn't going to pay fees that I didn't feel like I believed in. Now, eventually the regional contacted me, and I wrote a formal complaint. It was all in writing with exact timing and exact quoting. But not only that, I had a conversation with him in a polite manner. There's a couple lessons. When we're wronged, I think sometimes as humans, we get angry, and we think the best way to react is with anger, and that anger is how we'll get hurt. But I don't think that is true necessarily. I don't think anger will get you the things that you want. I think persistence and telling somebody, hey, I'm not gonna change my mind. This is unacceptable, and I'm gonna keep pushing until what I feel like is acceptable is done. I think that is a proper way to handle it, with poise, obviously. But secondly, I think an instinct for people, and I'm sorry to generalize, but I have noticed, so I will take responsibility, I have noticed in common themes in my life that women in particular were just like, we'll let it go. By letting things go, we're accepting the cycle and facilitating bad behavior. And so the moral of my story, I ended up calling, I got a hold of somebody, we had a conversation. I handled it with poise, number one. But number two, I knew what my boundaries were. So I knew what I wanted and what I didn't want, and I knew someone didn't treat me accordingly, communicated it. And long story short, we reached a compromise, and I felt like a compromise was reached. So that's in a small setting. I have friends that, are fearful to approach their employer about things that they disagree with. Nothing will be done if you never speak up. So that's a little mini message. If there's something going on and you just feel like, I need to speak up, but speak up from a place of desiring change and finding a solution. Don't speak up from a place of anger and feeling a need to prove yourself. Because the minute you're like, someone needs to be right and someone needs to be wrong, is the minute that you've already lost the battle. It's when you maintain control, and when you decide in your head what's a reasonable solution, and you try to achieve something close to that, is when you'll win the fight, win the battle. So that's my story. Thanks for listening. And it's perfect because some of you who saw me when I posted on Facebook on that status had commented, and this is your update on how that all went. Excuse my shitty accent. I don't do theater. Well, I've done theater, but as Kyle would say, my accent is very poor. So, hope you have a wonderful day. I'm Lexi. Hope you slay tomorrow. That's my slay dance. Hey, because we slay. I slay. You slay. Toodles.